Whew! You know you're in trouble when you see a snowman outside. The Snowman stars Michael Fassbender and J.K. Simmons in a thriller about a serial killer that's going around murdering women, leaving a calling card known as a snowman. In the official plot summary, an ominous-looking snowman. Which you gotta admit is really dedicated for the killer to do, because do you know how long it takes to build a snowman? He's really risking being seen. There's quite a lot of hate when it comes down to the Snowman. A lot of people don't like this movie, and I'm not saying that they're wrong for it. Though whenever I see that, I also see so much hate to the point where they say it's the worst movie they've seen all year, period. And at that point, I have to start asking them if really saw so many movies in a year. Because when I watch 200 or so movies a year, I see some really bad movies, and usually the ones that people deem as the most horrible movies of the year, I usually see as probably mid-range, honestly, because I see such a wide variety. When it comes down to the Snowman, I would say it's slightly lower than mid-range. They are not wrong in saying it's not the greatest movie. They should at least give it praise where praise is due, and that's what I'll do here in a second. First off is the people category. Nothing about the acting really screams great. There's no strong emotions going here, no acting range that you can see. It's mostly typical and generic for a murder mystery slash thriller. It's all serious tones, dark tones, and just moody individuals all around. I have to give that 1 out of 2 possible stars. I'm not sure if they wanted the characters to be memorable or not, but if they did, they kind of failed, because I won't really remember the movie for the characters. I won't really remember it for the actors, even though a few of the actors are really good choices. Say both for characters and casting, I'm going to only give those 1 out of 2 possible stars. The importance of the characters to the plot isn't all that noticeable. I think for the most part it lies completely on Michael Fassbender and the mystery behind who the killer is. Everybody else kind of just blends together. I'm not even entirely sure what the point of J.K. Simmons was. 1 out of 2 possible stars. Same kind of goes with chemistry. It's not a chemistry heavy movie. It's not about that. So as far as that goes, 1 out of 2 possible stars. Writing score. Nothing about the dialogue stands out, no speeches, no way that people talk that stands out for me. I'm gonna have to give this 1 out of 2 possible stars. When it comes down to the balance, a lot of people call this a very aimless, over-convoluted movie, and I have to agree to a certain point. There is a lot of random scenes in the movie that don't really seem to fit in, and that did bother me a lot, because I felt like the movie was way too long. They could have easily summed this up, because the case itself is rather simple, but it feels like they just made everything too complex to make sense. But because it is all about that killer, ultimately, I'll have to at least give half points. The way they did it isn't the best, but I'll at least give it half points and say 1. The story itself falls flat for me. There's nothing that's deep or meaningful about it. I'll give the story 0. Nothing about it is really all that original. It's not. It's a murder mystery, and the only thing that makes it interesting is the setting. Originality gets 0. Like I said, the snowy setting and everything does make it look interesting for the most part, and there are certain things about the visuals that keep you watching, but it's a boring story that feels like it's just taking too long to get over with. So I will have to say 1 BTS score. I did like the visuals, like I said before. The visuals definitely were stunning. So even some of the more boring scenes, everything felt good. And a lot of that had to do with the setting, and it also had to do with the directing. So with visuals and directing, both of those get 2 out of 2 possible stars. I can't really say the editing was as good. It was typical and average. Nothing really stands out there. 1. It was as advertised, so I'll give that 2 out of 2. And the music was good, it didn't capture me enough to warrant listening to a soundtrack or score. So I'll only have to give that 1. Entertainment score. This is the one that got the least points. This isn't a very entertaining movie. I know that they probably wanted it to be because of the fact that this is a murder mystery thriller, but it doesn't feel like that. I don't consider it rewatchable. I'm never going to see it again, and I'm okay with that. 0, which also means I'm not going to buy it For obvious reasons, 0. Do I consider it fun? No. It's boring. It's really, really lackluster, and I have to give that 0. Do I have an impulse to talk about it other than this review? I hope not. 0. And does it suck the audience in? No. A lot of people hate this movie so much that they left the theater before it ended. And if that doesn't shout shoving people away, I don't know what does. 0. Specialty score. So for the specialty, I mostly just focused on the genre that it is placed in. First of all, as a drama, it definitely does feel dramatic, over-dramatic in some scenes, so I'll at least give that points and say 10 out of 10. As a horror, I can't really say that it's scary, but once again, horror adjacent is usually what I see with horror films these days. It does have to do with a string of murders, which for some can be disturbing in some cases, so that is horror adjacent. I'll give that half point, say 5 out of 10 possible stars. As a thriller aspect, some people say this is thriller-less, and I kind of disagree. There were some definitely thrilling aspects in the very beginning and very end. The middle section is kind of bleh, but there is thrills here and there, so I'll give it half point, say 5. Mystery. Can't say that the mystery really pulled me in, but I can't deny the fact that the whole movie is indeed a mystery, so I'll give it half points and say 5. And is it halfway decent? Did they make the movie the way that they wanted to make it? I think for the most part they did. However, because people hate it so much, there's obviously something amiss here. The average moviegoer doesn't think of a movie in a breakdown scenario. They just go there for fun. They just go there for the movie experience. And in the case of my categories, that usually breaks it down to only the entertainment category. And my entertainment category scored a whole whopping 0 out of 10. And if it's the same for them, of course they're going to hate the movie. Something was definitely amiss. I understand where they're coming from. There's a few scenes in this that I definitely liked, but that's really all I have to say about that. Halfway Decent only gets 5 out of 10 possible stars. If we add all that up together, we get 54 out of 100 possible stars. 54%. Guys, tell me what you thought of Snowman in the comments down below. Follow me on Track.tv and Twitter at the username IAMDWG, and head over to my website, daveexaminesmovies.com, to see my end of the year movie awards, which are up right now. And for YouTube, you know you can subscribe to me, hit that like button, and hit that bell to be notified when I come out with my newest movie review, which will be tomorrow, and that will be the film Marshall. So stick around for that, and until then, guys, peace out and have a great Thursday.